Naughty Dog decided to release a chronological mode for The Last of Us Part 2, one of the most controversial games ever and my personal favorite. There are many things that The Last of Us Part 2 has right. The amazing gameplay mechanics, insane graphics that are still worth praising in 2025, nuanced characters, and a great story that gives a lot to talk about. Now, I will skip summarizing the story because if you're seeing this, then chances are you already know how things unfold, and even more, you have a strong opinion about the game, whether you love it or hate it. So, was it necessary to create a chronological version of the game? Yes, it was, and even more now that the second season of The Last of Us is out. Everyone hates Abby and the fact that she killed Joel, how the tropes of the story of vengeance and griefs are handled, and ultimately, this chronological version of the game, it's the same story and tropes explained in the simplest way there is for everyone to understand them, and maybe even accept it. The chronological mode starts with Abby during the tracking lesson with her dad, Jerry. You know, the guy who would have performed surgery on Ellie to attempt to create a cure for the cordyceps infection affecting humans, if it wasn't for Joel. And I know people who hate Abby won't like this at all, because having this perspective makes it feel like this story is almost about her, and not about Ellie, who traveled with Joel across the entire country for a sole purpose. From this point onward starts what we already know, but in the exact order. Joel killing Jerry sets everything in motion for the events that take place in the present of the story, and you can see how Ellie's and Abby's lives slowly unfold to the point where their stories collide for the first time. When you're playing this game for the first time, there's only one thing and only a limited range of emotions players feel, from rage to the utmost shocking trauma. And that only gets one thing in your head. I want to kill every one of them.
Got visuals on it!
I heard that Isaac wants us to retake all. Sean!
Especially the blonde girl with the braid who killed Joel. And so you go throughout Seattle with this feeling, killing wolves in the most creative ways the game allows you to because, you know, shifts gives to the incredible playability and mechanics. You hunt them down one by one, Jordan, Leah, not quite, but you get it, Nora, Owen, Mel, and even their unborn child. But when you play knowing the background of things, knowing from the very beginning who Abby is and what her motives are, it's just as if you're playing with Ellie because someone killed the person you care about the most, right? This is where things get interesting. Because the feeling of relentless thirst for revenge, it's gone, at least for me. And to be honest, it was gone by the third or fourth time I played the game, but you get the point. And that isn't a bad thing necessarily, but it's the simplest way the story has to prove its point. There are no good or bad people in this storyline. Actions simply have consequences. And by the time I got to the theater playing as Abby, I simply felt sad. Truly sad, because I knew very well what was going to happen. But I also felt a very small want of justice for Abby and her friend's death. I wanted them to pay for what they did, and noticing this for me was eye opening because of how tables can turn depending on how you tell this story. If there's something that the chronological mode proves, among other things, is that the story's tropes of grief, rage, and vengeance can be only fully experienced when you're telling one side of the story. And it's when you see the other side that the realization of what has happened and how your actions have led you to lose everything hits you. Now, when it comes to the live action series, this is a total opposite. You don't get that effect, and people who are getting to know the story thanks to it, unfortunately, will never experience what the intended version of the story has to offer. On a more general note, some of the similarity that the game shows you about Ellie's and Abby's stories are even more nuanced. Because it's those subtle ways the game has to tell you these people are going through the same but are just in different stages of it.
Don't ever let me see you again.
Go. Just take him.
For the sake of the story's pacing and action in general, I'm so relieved that you play through the memories first, and then you can focus on what's going on in the present time. Because I love this game, but I do admit memories ruin it when you want to just replay it for the sake of having fun with its excellent playability. And I think that's the importance of The Last of Us Part 2 Chronological mode. It's a new way to play through the story that makes things make more sense than it already did. You get to witness the contrast of each storyline firsthand and see the full picture more clearly than ever before. And I love it. But what do you think? Sound off in the comments below because I would love to see what people think about this. This is I Trust Autosave, and I will catch you on the next one.